Hi, this is Cindy Abbott Litro for Behind the Camera, and you are looking at Eddie Mekka, who is the smile, the face, the big ragu on Laverne and Shirley, and I choose that as one example, but that's just one of many roles that that you've played in your career. You do it all, and that I think, you know, because there are some actors that say, I only like to do TV or I only like to do film. You've done it all. What do you like?
I like TV because it's good money, but TV makes you lazy as an actor because you get 10 to 12 chances to get it right. And if you mess up, you say cut, you do it again, you go to your dressing room, I have a bagel or something, come back the next day. But when you're on Broadway, when you're on stage, you only got one shot. And then if you get through the whole play, you got to do it again tomorrow. You work 10 times as hard, but you get 10 times less pay, you know, so. But when you take your curtain call at the end and people stand up, you say, hey, I did something.
I've always wondered, though, you are doing the same role night after night. You know, the script doesn't really change. How do you motivate yourself?
Well, each audience is different. So you listen from the very beginning to see what they're laughing at, what they're not laughing at. You know, when I did Fiddler on the Roof, I played Tevye many times. And one time I noticed there were nuns in the front row. So I would say, dear God, and correct me, sister, if I'm wrong. Dear God, and then go. So, but now I'm playing God.
But you know, that role in Fiddler on the Roof, and there's been the resurgence of it. They had it came back to Broadway. Yeah. I mean, there are certain roles that people just love. Do you have one? Yeah,
Tevye is one of them. You know, I'll do that until I die.
Tell me a little bit, though, how you got the role on Laverne and Shirley.
I did a show on Broadway called The Lieutenant. As a matter of fact,
you were nominated for a Tony for that,
and they're bringing it back because it's an anniversary. But I'm not playing the lieutenant, I'm playing the recruiting officer in the beginning, saying, join the army, you know, real vaudeville kind of stuff. What was the question again?
No, I was asking you how you got the role as the big ragu.
I was nominated as Best Actor along with Joel Grey, Robert Preston, Raul Julia, John Cullum.
That was a tough year.
Yeah, and it was for a drama desk and a Tony. But I couldn't get an audition after that, so my agent said, why don't you just go to LA? So I went to LA, and 3 days I got Laverne and Shirley.
And what did they tell you?
The lady was looking at me like this, the casting, not the casting lady, an agent. And she also handled Henry Winkler, too. And so she's doing this. And I said, what are you doing? She said, well, I want to picture what you look like on film. And I said, why don't you just give me a screen test? And she goes, kid, it doesn't work that way. I said, you know, I thought you were, I don't know if I can say this, but I thought you were a ballsy lady. I thought we could do business. I shook her hand and I left. And at that very moment, Laverne and Shirley had been on Happy Days. Playing, the two bimbo dates.
Right.
And Fred Silverman said to Gary Marshall, I like those two characters. I see Lucy and Ethel. We need a third character, sort of a wise guy Italian. So she was having lunch with the casting lady at Paramount, said, I just got a guy that walked out of my office and said I had. She said, get him in here. So the following day I did a screen test. I was the last one to do it. I think they were auditioning like maybe 30 Carmines. Cindy wasn't going to do it, so they were auditioning Shirley's too. So it was really Penny and me that were the first two. And then Cindy decided she wanted to do it, and bada boom, bada bing, and here I am in Buffalo.
And now you also did daytime, which I've always wondered the soap operas, what that was like. Is that hard? Is that a hard job?
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley, we rehearsed all week and filmed on the final day. So in soaps, you film one show an hour in one day, sometimes two. So your rehearsal is pretty much your performance, you know, and there were no, what do you call them, prompters, so, you know. But I came in, I remember going there and I sprained my Achilles, so I had to put a cast on. So they rode around me and they said I was like the Joe Pesci of soaps.
I can see that.
Without the swearing though, so I was like...
Yeah. No, but I mean, you know, that is something though, because it's all different levels.
Yeah, it's different lingo. You know, they don't say light, cameras, action. They'll say, we're in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm like the first time I did it, 5, 4, 3, 2. Eddie, you gonna say your line? I said, is somebody gonna say action? No, we count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, okay, Eddie, we're in, 5, 4, 3. Are you going to say 2-1? So the next time he goes 5, 4, 3, and I go, And he said, I said, I'm new at this, And then at the end, when you have the final line, I'm looking around for somebody to say cut, and the camera's just zooming, and they said, don't say nothing after that, okay? I said, but you're too close to my face. I look like Jiminy Cricket and a spoon. Whatever that means.
Have you ever regretted this life you chose at one point? Because it just seems like it's very frenetic.
It gets tiring after a while, Oh. You pray for an opportunity to get rejected, If that means anything, but...
Well, now, your daughter has gone into this business, too.
She will not listen to a word I say, And it's like having a son and you can't teach him how to play baseball. Don't, if she's watching, I didn't say.
No. Well, Eddie Mekka, it is a delight to talk to you.
Thank you.
We're glad you're here in Western New York. And
I love being back here.
And it won't be the last time, I hope. Thank you.
Maybe I'll come back when the Patriots come up here. No, wrong thing to say.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Well, Bob, it started back about 25 years ago, and I happened to be at a place by the name of Shooters, and I had a small party planned for about 75 people. And anyways, before you know it, everybody heard that I had a party going on, and anyway, they started coming in. I asked Reggie, the owner, I says, Reggie, we got all these people coming in. You got a bigger room? He says, I can't do nothing. And then my craziness that I am, I says, then do me a favor. Get me 4 or 5 more bartenders, zero out the register, and I want everybody in the restaurant to drink for nothing for the next 4 hours. Well, they were Miami people. Everybody's hugging, everybody's kissing. As a matter of fact, I got scared when I seen someone come down and they're carrying a case of champagne on the guy's boat because they could park next to the dock. And someone said, hey, some guy from New York just bought Shooters. They're giving all the liquor away. Well, I don't want to tell you what my tab was, but it was an expensive tab, but it probably was one of the finest parties I've had, everybody getting along. And every year, the Bills were doing so great, and it got exciting. Every year, it's 25 years I've been having my parties, Bob. I mean, I hate to add up when it comes to, because I probably could have owned my own restaurant at that time and bought Shooters. But we had so much fun. We went down, and we used to have all the television cameras bring us, follow us down there, and we'd have parties at Shooters every single year, and I'm talking 1,500 people, and everybody drank on me. We used to have excursions. We'd fill 3, 4 airplanes and go down there. It was the exciting days of the Buffalo Bills. I have to tell you a little story when we went back at one time. Our nicest party was a Miami party that we had at the convention center. And there was a white writer in Miami, Gary Stein, who worked for the South Centennial. He called the Buffalo Bill fans a bunch of fat beer-belly drinking slobs. And when I told him, I said, Gary, we went back, we had a fight going back and forth. You know, that's not nice to say. We spend a lot of money in Miami. We want an apology or we're going to boycott Florida. And he puts in the paper, well, we're glad to see you clean up the pollution. Well, let me tell you, that year, the following year, I got nobody to go to Miami. No one. We boycotted it. I had 5,000 people at the convention center. We served drinks, roast beef sandwiches. We had a pool in there. We had everybody in bikini bathing suits, palm trees, and we beat Miami so bad that day. They had all the Buffalo fans, even on ESPN, showing that. And would you believe the South Centennial, all the restaurants got together down there. They got him fired. It was the happiest day of my life. They got him fired for ripping the Buffalo fans apart. Once they let him go, we started going back to Miami again.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
Well, I guess I'm very, very safe to say yes. I think I've only got a few more years. I'm going to be 83 years old. How long do we have to wait? My gosh, we had our opportunity, and man, we missed out on a couple of them. What a great, great city we had. We won a couple of Super Bowls. Not that we have one, so I have one now. My next ambition, which I'm starting to do right now, is I'm trying to help organizations like I did for the hospital, bought the TVs, that helped a lot of people in the hospital that they don't have to pay for television. I did it for Roswell. I'm doing it now for Mothers of Mercy. I'm going to take care of whatever I can do for the community. I have money. I hope I go to the grave with not a penny in the bank. And I give it all to the society here that has helped me be successful. Where I can see somebody bring me something and say, would you be willing to donate X amount of money to make a bunch of people happy, like in the hospital, where they never have to turn on the TV. I will continue to do that until I'm broke. And I work very, very hard. I make a lot of money. But at the end of the year, I give it all away. I don't want to give one penny to Uncle Sam. I'd rather give it to all those beautiful people that are listening to us right now.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Come home straight after school.
Okay, love you.
Bye. As a parent, you want to protect your kids from everything, which sometimes means telling them things they need to hear in order to keep them safe. Things like don't smoke and don't talk to strangers. But how many of us talk to our kids about gambling? Teen gambling can become an addiction, a pathway to other destructive behavior. Be aware of the warning signs. Have the gambling conversation with your kids. Need help? Visit PreventYouthGamblingNY.org to get started.
Ever since it opened, Ilio DiPaolo's in Blaisdell has had a close connection to the Buffalo Bills. It's a short drive away from Ralph Wilson Stadium. It's a favorite restaurant of lots of players, coaches, and fans, and its walls are covered with memorabilia. Naturally, conversations around meals at Ilio's often turn to favorite Bills memories or thoughts on the current team's chances. And that's exactly what's happening out on the patio today, except this group of Bills fans is a little different than most.
Pro wrestling has been such a big, vital part of Western New York tradition and Buffalo tradition since before our time. The last sporting event in the Buffalo Auditorium was pro wrestling 20 years ago, so now we're bringing all the wrestlers back and we're doing a reunion. So you got generations of wrestlers here this weekend.
Dennis and his dad, Ilio, when I first came to Buffalo, they took me in, so I became a wrestling fan. And at the very first one that we had was great, and so Dennis is planning another one. I said, I got to come back for it.
I had the opportunity about 20 years ago to bring a wrestling event to Buffalo. Obviously getting to meet Dennis DiPaolo enhanced that experience.
You got to remember, in the 60s, the Bills were just starting out. They used to practice right up the street here where the McKinley Mall was, and it was a short walk down for dinner to Ilio's. Pro wrestling was the big sport in town. Many of our Buffalo Bills players are great wrestlers, so there's always a deep connection. Football and wrestling, you know, it's a hand-in-hand thing.
One of the first events that we had here, Jim Kelly decided to spontaneously jump up in the ring and get involved in a match, and it was an unscripted part of the show. And in fact, it was the best part of the show.
Don't hurt your arm, whatever you do. Don't break your arm, Jim, or your leg. Oh, God. Then we have to move after that.
I won't go so far as to say I wanted to sign him at that point because I knew he was a little busy playing football.
This is just great. It's like being back to the roots of wrestling, the bond of the ring, we call it. The best of the Northeast is here to wrestle this weekend. A couple of them are Buffalo Bills season ticket holders, so how cool is that?
Transplanted Buffalonian originally. I was born here, raised in Texas, and my family's still very passionate about those Buffalo Bills.
It's hard not to fall in love with Buffalo once you actually come to Buffalo, and especially when you step foot in the Ralph.
We're going to make them Bills fans anyway, especially after having lunch here. They got to be a Bills fan.
Wrestling's like food. You know, it brings people together, talk about the old days, talk about what's going on in your lives.
That's the key to success in Buffalo. When the team embraces the community and the community embraces the team, that's a win-win combination.
Ooh, yeah.
Movie makers have been coming to Western New York for over a half-century, filming such classics as Niagara with Marilyn Monroe, or The Natural with Robert Redford. Buffalo Niagara Film Commissioner Tim Clark and the Buffalo Niagara Film Office have helped facilitate the production of movies, television shows, and commercials for over a decade. The Buffalo area has seen such films as Henry's Crime with Keanu Reeves come to town, or more recently, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles utilizing the 33 for a critical car chase action sequence. However, Niagara Falls and Niagara County have now become more and more a destination point for filmmakers as well. Tim Clark sat down with What's Up Western New York at the Riviera Theater in North Tonawanda to discuss the growth of film production in Niagara County and the surrounding region.
Niagara County has been, a very important part of our marketing scheme because there are so many great elements in Niagara County, as well as Erie County and Chautauqua and Cattaraugus and places like that as well. But I will tell you that Niagara Falls Niagara County rather, not only has Niagara Falls, but it also has, this great fort, Fort Niagara. It has Lockport, with the locks and the underground cave there that Sharknado used for, the backdrop to their movie, and also we did a movie recently in Lewiston, New York, which is a quintessential, small town America that just, is cinematic gold for these movie directors. I could tell you that, when we drove the producers through Lewiston for that particular film, they just fell in love with it right away and realized that, this was the place that needed to be the backdrop for their, for their quaint little movie.
Clark tells What's Up Western New York that once a director shoots a film in Western New York, they often return.
Yeah, we do. We get a lot of return customers. I think people, once they get here and get over the initial hump of a new place to sort of explore as a filmmaking opportunity, they see the production value here. They see the big stuff, I always call it, that we have. And they see the available locations, the friendliness of the people, the plentiful crew, and you put all those pieces together, and man, if you got the makings of a great movie, and usually at a price point that they're pleasantly surprised with, because as you know, in some of the bigger cities, New York, Los Angeles, it's pretty expensive to cater to cater the movie set or to purchase different things. And in Buffalo and in Niagara Falls and in Western New York, things are just a lot more affordable, and that goes for everything from the fuel for the trucks to the rooms that they may rent for their traveling crew. So, it's been very positive, economically.
In 2010, Keanu Reeves and James Caan discussed making movies in Buffalo and Western New York.
I was the first guy in Hollywood to make a picture in Buffalo, 1980. I directed a picture called Hide in Plain Sight. Mm-hmm. And I went to Buffalo because that's where it happened, and it was as far away from the producers as I could get. I mean, they had to be in the studio. And so that worked out well.
We had great support and help from the people there and from the film commission there, and they supported the films in such a great way. And we did a lot of the exteriors there, and to get the light, to get the architecture, to get the feeling of the place, and we lucked out with some good weather, and filming at the falls at 4 a.m.
Yeah, you know what? It's true. I had a great. They were so nice. They were great. People were great.
Film and television production is not only beneficial to the local economy, but the tourism trade in particular, especially in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I think the Nick Walenda stunt on ABC television was probably one of the bigger, if not, well, it really was the biggest television event in Niagara Falls history. Millions, and I mean tens of millions of viewers zoned in on that. And, you know, and also the press coverage, just even in the print media and on the internet, it you know, was just phenomenal. I read some accounts of Twitter just going off the Richter scale that night, simply because everybody was twittering, and tweeting the messages about Nick moving over from the American side to the Canadian side. So no, it was a very, very huge television event for us and a big part of Niagara Falls history. The concept of a film office is to sort of harness all the assets architecturally and with the crew and with permitting processes and all of that kind of stuff, is to harness all that so that when a filmmaker comes to Western New York, for instance, they're not dealing with 20 different agencies and it gets unwielding. You know, we basically handle it from the first call till when the trucks leave and toot the horn goodbye. You know, so we literally are involved in pretty much every aspect of filmmaking, not just here at Niagara Falls, but anywhere in the western region of New York State.
I just think it's the wave of the future. You're gonna see in the next 5 to 10 years there'll be more food trucks, I believe. I won't say than restaurants, but they're gonna. That's the thing. The millennials especially, they love that fast, grab the food and go thing. They don't want to come in and sit down and, tablecloth and waitress. They just want to grab their food and eat it. It's worked out great. We've been received great. We haven't got any complaints at all. And we've got this nifty little carrier, and that makes it easy for them to eat it. You know, that was our main concern, is how you're going to hold a soda, your extra sauce, a parm, and we've got a carrier we give you that you can hold everything with one hand and eat with the other hand. So it's worked out great. I haven't made a phone call yet to anybody to ask them, hey, can we come there? Everybody's called us, which I can't believe. I'm overwhelmed. Our first day when we announced it, I had 48 phone calls waiting for me when I got back in my office, and we're literally almost booked up all of July and August already, day and night, and it's everybody requesting us. Yeah, the quality is critical. That was the overall goal. You know, I didn't want someone to come up to the food truck and go, it's all right, but it's still better at the restaurant. And all the feedback we've gotten is it's exactly the same as the restaurant. Again, we've added some stuff. We've taken off some stuff already. Things that are moving, things that weren't moving. But all our staples are there. Our chicken parm, eggplant parm, spaghetti. We have a gluten-free option. We have a vegan option. We have sandwiches, chicken cutlet if you want to go something a little lighter, chef salad, special mix salad, our cannolis. So it's a pretty good menu for a food truck, I feel. Honest with you, we have a great staff. I have great managers, and knock on wood, that's what allows us to do this. We're both on the truck a lot right now, till we get our staff the way we want them trained, and then we'll obviously come back to the restaurant more. But I've got great managers on the truck as well as in the restaurant, and that's what allows us to be able to diversify. I can't thank those guys enough. I made the comment, they're like big brothers to me in my speech, and they really are. I grew up with some of the older guys like Rene Robert. Obviously, I was a stick boy for the Sabres back in the 70s. So I worked for a lot of these guys. Marcel Dion was there. I worked for Marcel, and anytime I ever ask them to do anything, it's like, where do you want us? What time? There's never a fee. There's never a wine, and it's really great. I mean, Joe D flew up from Charlotte for it. And he wants to work during the Bills games. That's his goal in life. He's driving me crazy. I don't want to break the news to him that he's just too big for the truck. At first, I don't think he would have went for it, to be honest with you. But he was always an innovator. He was always looking ahead and taught us, look for the next step. And, you can't stay stagnant, but you got to keep quality. So I think he'd be excited about it. He would have been on the truck, no doubt. I think this is it. I thought we hit a home run when we did the takeout window for a restaurant, and that worked out real well. And so far it looks like we've hit a home run with this food truck, and I think that's about it. I'm rounding 60 years old, and I'm just gonna coast now.
It's been a long week, and I could really use a break. Good thing I can commute in style to one of the coolest spots on a Buffalo coastline. So tell us a little bit about RiverWorks.
It's hard to tell a little bit about RiverWorks because there's so much to it here, but originally it was an old grain operation. Much of our facility was either in ruins or just empty dirt, and so we've been able to sort of cobble those pieces back together again and sort of bring them into one usable space. We've got restaurants and multiple bars and huge patios and a lot of different sports and recreational activities. We've got pickleball tournaments and bubble soccer, and we've got wintertime events with hockey and curling and just open skating. We got the roller derby. You know, it's one of the first places in Buffalo where people can easily pull up by dock and go out for a meal or get a drink or go to a concert.
What do you call a roller derby game?
We previously called them bouts. I think that was a little bit confusing for the fans. Now we call them games. It's not a fight.
Per se.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely hitting.
And this is the only dedicated roller derby rink in the world, yeah?
In the world, yeah.
This is the far southern end of the site, and we call this area the ruins area. We're calling this our Stonehenge beer garden. What we want to do is a huge ropes course, aerial park, zip lines, full-scale climbing gym. This tower here, that could become the world's tallest vertical climbing wall. This one we're calling Medusa's front porch. We really think this is the iconic spot of RiverWorks.
Visitors could spend days here relaxing and enjoying the Western New York waterfront, while its proximity to downtown gives locals the opportunity to pop in on a lunch break for a stolen moment on the shore. RiverWorks is a fun and fresh new experience on Buffalo's waterfront, a dramatic transformation of the city's industrial heritage. Stop in and check out the latest example of Buffalo's extreme makeover. I'm Sarah Cal-Falcone. See you next time on Buffalo for Real TV.
Bye. Bye. All right. Bye. Come home straight after school.
Okay, love you.
Bye. As a parent, you want to protect your kids from everything, which sometimes means telling them things they need to hear in order to keep them safe. Things like don't smoke and don't talk to strangers. But how many of us talk to our kids about gambling? Teen gambling can become an addiction, a pathway to other destructive behavior. Be aware of the warning signs. Have the gambling conversation with your kids. Need help? Visit PreventYouthGamblingNY.org to get started.